What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at Will Pod 11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. About to head out to the airport, traveling to London to meet Joe and PK. We'll have a lot of really good content. We're going to be meeting up with a bunch of Jets fan groups, a million different things over there. And make sure you guys check out any of the links me and Joe and Paul have posted of where we're going to be at. And we'll track the whole trip. We'll do the whole content creating thing. Again, make sure if you're in need of some alcohol this weekend and you want a bottle of vodka, make sure you order in the link below for Holiday Vodka, the newest partner of the Turn on the Jets podcast, as well as if you want to gear up for Knicks season, Nets season, Rangers, Islanders, whatever it is, Fanatics. Obviously, if you want to get some Jets stuff as well, although until they win, that's on you. That link will be posted below. Another proud sponsor of the pod. Done with the PSAs. Jets Broncos on Sunday in London, 2:30 local, 9:30 a.m. on the East Coast. For you West Coast people that are listening, that's 6:30 a.m. wake up time. On the weekend, more power to you. This is an interesting matchup to me because everything points to the Jets getting steamrolled on Sunday. It just does, if we're being honest, right? And I think one of the biggest concerns was going into the season this was one of the games where not a good matchup for this current construction of the Jets, where Denver's defense is awesome. Their running game's really good. Sean Payton's a really good, obviously, play caller, and Bo Nix can do enough to kind of get you over the hump there. And the way the Jets are playing right now, it's hard to see the Jets winning this football game. Obviously, we'll get into a couple keys to winning this game. I'm also going to talk about a little bit of the excitement around college football because Jets fans are in full tank mode right now, and it's kind of hard to blame them. Obviously, I am not in the greatest mood today. The Yankees have another team celebrate on their home field again. Play it last in New York in the locker room as they celebrate. Start spreading the news, bitches, as John Schneider has so eloquently said. Got the Yankees lose from Big Papi and Vladdy. Big Papi might want to worry about, his mob boss girlfriend and the different things there. But listen, I think, this is one of those games where the Jets are going to have to protect the football. Every week, this is a paramount thing for the Jets. They are, I believe, negative 40.4 EPA in terms of no turnovers. They have not created any, and they've turned the football over a ton. It's crazy to me they haven't thrown any interceptions except for the Tyrod one. It's been a lot of fumbles. It's been them punching it out and not falling out, and the other team punching it out of the Jets' hands, especially in key situations. Multiple returners fumbling in really bad spots and setting teams up for advantageous situations. And then from a Jets point of view, it's fumbling not only to put teams in a better spot, but then you're about to go score a touchdown. Really nice drives put together, whether it's going in to go 10-10 at half, whether it's going to go up 7-3 in Miami. Games that you needed 7 points there. And not only did you come away with 0 points, but in both cases, immediately defense gives up a 90-plus yard touchdown drive, whether it was the Allen or the Hall fumble. Again, Brees has not been as bad as probably everyone is kind of on him about, but at the same time, in my opinion, ball security obviously is a paramount issue. And he just, let's be honest, guys, it unfortunately just doesn't get in the end zone. So that's obviously a cause for concern there. The Jets are going to have to protect well in this game. Justin Fields, his numbers look fine. I think they're a little bit more. They certainly are numbers that I think that don't really necessarily. I talked about it earlier in the week. That don't necessarily reflect exactly how he's played. They don't score first quarter touchdowns, and they certainly don't really score touchdowns until they're down double-digit points. That's got to change. I think this has to be a really big Garrett Wilson game. This has to be a Mason Taylor game. And frankly, the running game has to continue to do what it's been doing. I'd like to see, again, some more two-back stuff. Maybe get Isaiah Davis a couple screens. Maybe it's Breece Hall and Isaiah Davis is a lead blocker. Or both those guys lead blocking for Fields. We saw that week one. We haven't really seen that since. They're going to have to control the clock and make this a kind of one of the gross, ugly London games where both teams kind of play like shit and the Jets just play enough less of shit to win a football game. We'll see if the change of scenery helped. It looks like Jermaine Johnson is going to be back. Didn't look super healthy, to be honest with you. In the clip the Jets socials posted a few moments ago, it looked like that ankle is still pretty tender, and who would blame him? High ankle sprain is no joke, and it's crazy to me that you had fans calling him soft last week, which is wild. But defensively, you have to take the football away. we've said it for 5 weeks. I'm going to continue to say it. Everyone on the channel said it. Every Jets fan has said it. You got to take the football away. It's probably got to be. I'd love to see them have an interception at some point. The fumble stuff is nice, and I think obviously we've seen the way it can change momentum for the Jets in a negative way. I'd love to see them get their hands on a football and take it away. I think we talk so much about Aaron Glenn's defense coming over here, and hey, they're going to give up some more yards, and things like that. But hey, man, like they're going to take the football away. They're going to, give up some more explosives, but they're going to be like down by down, kind of change momentum and these different things and take football away, hit people hard, be this tough nose, kind of talk shit defense. And just haven't really seen it really at all. So, yeah, got to Bo Nix is a guy who he'll give you a few. I think he's a good player, and he probably gets more shit from a lot of people than is maybe deserved. But this is not facing Josh Allen. This is not facing Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. This is a solid NFL quarterback that will give you a couple, and you got to take advantage at some point. It can't just be a pass breakup. It can't just be we limit him to 8 yards on this one. No, let's take the football away. Let's be in a position to give ourselves a shot here to get a short field. Defensively, again, it's going to have to be tackling well as well. They haven't tackled well in quite some time. It's just guys being disciplined with technique. This is not. I don't even know if it's necessarily an effort thing. It's just maintaining technique and not being lazy with it, and really getting your head backside and really attacking the back hip and getting your head. It's little things like that, man. That are just. It's not. These guys know what they're doing. They're not like. It's not like all of a sudden you lose the ability to tackle. It's breaking down and throttling your feet and getting your hips in the right position, getting your head across, like putting your pads where your pads need to be. Like it's not overthinking and then just like trying to boomstick somebody. Like, yeah, those things are fun, man. And like, don't get me wrong. Like we've all been there, but sometimes just like getting the guy to the ground is going to be more than okay. Playing with your hair on fire a little bit. London games are weird. We've seen it over the years. Like, a lot of teams will sleepwalk through the first half. They'll both teams went over. Broncos went over on Sunday night after a huge win in Philly. Could this be a trap game for them? Who knows? Maybe. Sean Payton's a really good coach, and the Broncos have looked pretty good this year, and they're a team people really high on going into the year. Again, it's why it was such a tough matchup. And I just think to myself, like, I don't know, man. Maybe the change of scenery will be good for the Jets, and they can make this a pretty ugly, weird game at the end of it, and like. Luck comes out on their side, for once. Probably not. Like, let's be honest, right? I think we're all on the same page of like no one's picking the Jets to win games until they start. But it would be quite funny to me of a week where everyone kind of is like, let's tank, or what, tankathon and quarterbacks, which we'll get to in a moment, and and then they end up a really good opponent in London. Everyone's like, I'm checked out. Then they win, and it's like, oh look, Carolina, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, like. Who knows? And like maybe that's the case, man. But like as of right now, it's hard to pick the Jets. I'm sure when I'm in the airport later and sitting there with my own thoughts and my own fucked up head, like I'll start convincing yourself like, ooh, it could be the day. But we'll see. I think it'll be an interesting matchup of what Aaron Glenn and Sean Payton have for each other. Again, Glenn worked under Sean Payton for 4 years in New Orleans. Darren Muji and company were a part of the Sean Payton regime. Patton, up in Denver. So there's a lot of kind of connections here. It just will be really interesting to see how this one kind of unfolds. Revenge game for JFM. Funny, I was talking to some people, I'll say around the Jets, that they still talk about JFM, man, of how he was like that asshole in the locker room that everybody respected, everyone kind of not feared. I don't want to, put words in people's mouths, but he was the guy that kind of set the physicality and mental tone, Monday through Sunday. And they miss him, man. That trade is going to go down as one of those, what the fuck were you doing? I think we're talking about the Yankees a lot, and, more to come on a future Yankees pod on this feed, including myself. So, but, when guys start to walk out of the building that were your culture, gritty, tough dudes that wouldn't take shit and get walked over by anybody, things change. Even if you find more talent, Jason Giambi is way more talented than Tino Martinez was, but I don't know, man. Tino Martinez was here and they were winning all the time, and Giambi came and didn't win a single ring while he was here. You kind of go down the line with some of those guys, those kind of bulldogs, kind of pit bull people that, foxhole guys, and JFM was a foxhole guy for them, right? I think we talk so much about the defensive line and what kind of transpired over a 12-month stretch of Huff and JFM gone and Rankin's gone and Q Jeff gone and Al Woods and all these guys, and replacing with losers like Hassan Reddick and, guys have coming in and, a lot of Clemens reps and all these different things, Barron and McGregor and, those guys, and Jermaine being hurt. Like, there's so much that's happened, but it's really a shame to watch the way JFM's kind of brought this physical tone to Denver alongside Benito and Allen and the rest of those guys and Surtain. But, it's disappointing. I think things would be different here. Not saying JFM would have been an all-pro player here, but he's a guy who loved being here. And I think the physicality and the tone he set while he was here spoke volumes. But yeah, defensively, got to tackle well, got to take the football away, and going to have to get off the field on third down. Like, it's pretty simple. It's straightforward. It's not exciting stuff. It's not like I'm saying anything revolutionary here from a defensive side of the football, but you got to fucking do it, or else people are going to continue to challenge you. Like, it's great the Jets' success rate on first and second down is good. It's great that, hey, they've made improvements here. They made improvements here. Stevens is playing better, or, wow, they're getting Jermaine back, or, wow, look at this guy. Like, dude, like, it doesn't matter if you can't get off the field on third down and you can't, they get stops in the red zone. Cool. Get off the field on third down so you don't have to be in the red zone and conceding field goals. Let's not get to 3rd and 9 and get up a 40-yard completion because someone misses a tackle. I'd like to see Wilkes adjust. The Broncos are going to run right at Michael Clemens the entire game. They're going to get as many matchups with Andre Sisco and Tony Adams in coverage as they can. They're going to try to isolate whoever is in the nickel, whether it's Oliver, Brownlee, or Malachi Moore. And that's what the Broncos are going to do. And you're going to have to stop them one way or another. Finishing on offense, again, run the football well. Going to have to convert on and score, turn 7 points out of 3 and not fumble the football. I need Justin Fields to get the ball out of his hand a little quicker. I know it's coach speak. Didn't love the answer from Engstrand of like, oh, that's what the play is designed to do. Then that's an indictment on the play caller, right? So, like, I actually think Engstrand has done a pretty good job, so I don't want to give him a hard time here, but time to throw is deceiving because, yes, Justin Fields is a mobile quarterback, and a lot of times it'll go up because of his ability to hold and scramble and do these different things. All fair and true. But when you're holding the football for 3.5 seconds average per dropback, it's a long time, man. It's a lot, asking your offensive line to do a lot. And would I like to see a better Olu game this week? Yeah, I don't think he was perfect by any means last week. I'd really like to see the ball run behind Tittman and Membu as much as possible. Simpson was pretty bad last week. He needs to have a bounce back week. So there's a lot there. Again, as much as I don't think Arian Smith's a perfect player by any means, can we take a shot? Can you get him a little bit involved? Can he run clear out routes for Garrett? Can we get another 8 to 10 Mason Taylor targets? I think people will be quite pleased with that. So, and then again, lastly on special teams, yeah, the Jets have been making their kicks. Austin McNamara has done a really nice job, and there's no reason to feel like that will change. What I will say is the return game's been horrible. If the ball's kicked into the end zone, I'd really like to see the Jets just take a fucking knee. The ball will be out in the 35-yard line, or if the ball's about to go out of bounds and it's on the 40, they're not returning it there. And again, Ken Hayes should be back, and hopefully it should fix him in the return game. But, like, I understand wanting to create explosives, but, like, in my opinion, be able to start on the 35-yard line and the way Nick Folk's kicking, like, what do you need, 20 yards, 2 first downs to get yourself in field goal range? Like, that's a blessing, man. The rule sucks, and I think a lot of people would argue with me and whatever that, like, it's not a very good rule and it's annoying, but I'd also argue that, like, man, you have it play to your benefit. It plays to everybody else's benefit. So that's got to be fixed. Overall, I think the Broncos end up winning. And again, I hope I'm wrong, transparently. Like, I do. But it's just hard to pick the Jets right now until proven otherwise. Again, really good team in London. Wacky things happen. I'm excited to be there. I know Joe and Paul are excited to be there. Again, links for, Holiday Vodka and Fanatics are down below, as well as the fantasy app that, is kind of, helping us out, being over in London and things like that. But lastly, I'll talk about, a lot of talk about quarterbacks, and we'll get more into it. I don't want to spend too much time on the college guys at the moment, although I think people, rightfully so, with all the New York teams out of the playoffs in baseball, really early days in hockey and basketball. College football's going to be, front and center tomorrow or Saturday. A lot of fun matchups. I guess kind of walking through the slate here, like some guys you want to probably keep your eye on if you're a Jets fan. Ty Simpson, right at noon, in Missouri. He's a guy who's been a hot topic, I would say, the last 2 to 3 weeks. Somebody that has caught a lot of steam. So I think that's somebody you want to probably keep your eye on. Again, Dante Moore and Mendoza, at Oregon, Indiana at 3:30. If you can go quad box and whatever, I would do it at 3:30 because some of the games are fantastic. Oklahoma, Texas, John Mateer. Wouldn't be shocked if he plays in that one. Would not be shocked at all. Dude is a maniac and 10, 12 days post thumb surgery, and his guy's already trying to come back and play, and that's part of why I think he'd be awesome in New York. But again, you got Dante Moore and Mendoza at 3:30. You got Ty Simpson at 12. These guys playing ranked opponents. Most of them, if you look at Indiana, Mendoza on the road at Oregon, Ty Simpson on the road at Missouri, like that's going to show you a lot. Dante Moore, can you follow up a huge performance off the bye? Against Penn State, can John Mateer come back and look like the guy who is probably going to win the Heisman Trophy and I think be a top 10 pick, come April? Like, can he come back again in the Red River and kind of make his stamp and put his stamp down? You got Rocco Beck at 3:30 also against Colorado. Like, if he's a guy that you're kind of, keeping your eye on and things of that nature, again, good slate. Georgia, Auburn later at night, Michigan, USC, LSU, South Carolina, Nuss against Sellers. Two names. So like a lot of matchups of quarterbacks that potentially could be an option for the Jets going forward. Just some things to keep your eye on. And, again, Sam Levitt, later at night against Utah. So there's a lot there. Excited to be in London. Excited to maybe come and record a pod Sunday night, from the UK after a few pints with Joe, PK, and the boys. And hopefully talk about a win, likely probably talking about a loss, but it is what it is. Appreciate it for listening. Quick 17, 18 minutes for you, here on a Thursday afternoon before I head to the airport. Again, I appreciate it for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.